All right, here's the final for my internship. This is pretty uncharacteristic for me, considering the fact that I live in an Airbnb with like 5 other guys, and there isn't a quiet space there. So, right now I'm in the parking lot of a Whole Foods in Augusta, Georgia. Um, to summarize my internship, it's been I feel like every day is almost like drinking from a fire hose. It's been a really packed full 3 months, especially looking back on like day one. I think something I learned is like take a leap of faith, especially if you're nervous. For my internship, the guy that recruited me for Gray Ink, he was having a kid the same day that I was supposed to show up for my first day. So he was a little preoccupied, and the only thing he did for me was he told me to go to Lexington, Kentucky on this date, and go to the headquarters of the company at a certain time. And that's like the only info he gave me. So like I packed all my belongings inside my car, and my wife and we drove out to Kentucky, just ready to take on the world and see what the next couple months had in store for me. And yeah, I think that kind of set the tone for pretty much like every week in the internship field, of like not knowing what's gonna happen, or like knowing that you're gonna get a new task all the time, and people are gonna expect you to finish it. They're not gonna expect you to necessarily know how to do it, and it's up to you to figure out how to get from that point A to point B of the task completion. I remember like one of the big tasks I had to do that I wrote about in my weekly reports was to write down, essentially it's like write down the packaging number and also the identification number of every piece of equipment that was on site that hadn't been installed in the facility yet. And to put this into perspective, this is like a $350 million project right now. And then over the next 7 years, as it goes through different phases, it's going to be just shy of $1 billion project. And with a project that size, there's a lot of equipment. And that was really the only instructions they gave me, was find these two numbers on every piece. And I had to really put in the work and put in the grind, because every tag that had that on every piece of equipment was under a tarp or inside a box or tucked away behind 50 other 3-ton pieces of equipment that I had to climb behind. But I knew this was an opportunity, even though it wasn't necessarily the most complicated task. It was a difficult task. I knew it was an opportunity to show my work ethic to my boss and to the person that assigned it to me. And he said, you have till Thursday to get it done. And he gave me the task to do on Monday. I don't think he realized, but I was leaving for rotation to go home on Wednesday. And I felt like, I've only got 3 days, really it was 2.5, because I would have to leave at 11 a.m. on Wednesday to make my flight. I feel like it wasn't worth me copping out of the scenario and saying, hey, I'm leaving early, I can't make your deadline. I felt like it was worth it for me to say I can dedicate 100% of what I can do for the next 2 days and try to crank it out. And at this job I work 12-hour shifts, so most of the weeks I'm finishing with about 84 hours of work. But I figured I could dedicate 24 straight hours of my job time to this singular task, and I did it. It was I got in at 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday, and it was 5:30 Tuesday afternoon when I finished that task. And the sense of pride and the sense of joy that I had when I was able to complete that was overwhelming emotionally almost. And my chest was puffed up so much and with confidence when I handed him my notebook. I filled in 17 pages of notes with every piece of equipment, and I handed it to him, and he didn't believe me. He thought I was joking. But I was like, no, man, like, look, I did it. I got it all for you. I wrote as neatly as possible. And if I couldn't find these 2 criteria numbers, I wrote down all the other numbers that I knew that he could look up in CX Alloy, which is our software. I tried to underpromise and exceed expectations. Tried to underpromise and overdeliver. And he was really grateful about it. He kept thanking me for like the rest of the day and the beginning of the next day of like, man, you like really did that for me. And I think that's like I think that's a lesson I want to carry with me for a long time, of doing that, under promise and over deliver. My grandpa always had a saying that's like, because he would ask me to mow the lawn. I remember him sitting down. He's just like, now when I ask you to mow the lawn, I'm not asking you to mow the lawn. He's like, I'm asking you to mow. I'm asking you to weed. I'm asking you to, do the edges, and then take out the bag of grass and throw out the trash. And he said, when someone asks you something, go beyond what they're asking for. And he's like, and don't ask for money, because they're going to repay you. Whether it does, they're going to pay you if you do a really good job, whether it is money or whether it's them just being super thankful and looking out for you as a favor in the future. He said, go beyond expectations, show up early, and never ask for money. And that's going to instill a really big expectation of people for you, knowing that like you're going to be the guy that can do it. I think another scenario too is like learning by the seam of your pants, kind of learning at the edge of your seat, and is a big thing on your internship. And to learn by that, you can't be scared to make mistakes. I felt like the first 2 weeks I was quieter than I usually am, because I was scared to like say something dumb or seem dumb. I was scared to make a mistake. I figured if I'm quiet enough, people can direct me on what they want to do, and I can just kind of formulate it from there. And I realized that was a crutch that I had on myself, that people are expecting me not to know hardly anything, and that's okay because I'm the intern. That if you ask for help, people will 100% help you. People 9 times out of 10 will go out of their way to help you if you're just being honest and say, hey, I don't understand this, can you please help me out? And that edge of the seat, like learning to adapt quickly, comes in handy not only in your internship so you can like learn as much as possible, but it's going to be coming in handy for your workforce in general, because the construction sites, the tasks are always different. Every customer is going to bring different criteria, different qualifications, different expectations as well, and you have to adjust to every job site that you come onto. I'm nearing the 10-minute mark. I'm probably rambling a little bit. I really loved this internship. I'm really glad they took a chance on me. It felt good to get out of the classroom, because you learn a lot in the classroom, but you get to apply what you learned in the field, and I felt like that helped me grow as a person and a student tenfold. I feel like these last 3 months have been like a year's worth of school added on to me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just really glad I had the opportunity.